You know when a team's getting absolutely waxed in game one of a series, like so much to the point, halfway through the game, game's over. They just look for those things in the third period. Hey, let's try to have a good period. Let's have a few good shifts, throw a couple big hits, maybe score a goal or two, and then we'll use that momentum and carry it into the next game. I feel like that's what the end of the Kings-Oilers game was for me. Awful night, a night I would love to forget, but at least I got a couple Kings goals at the end of the game there, hit the over on that team total, and then that sends me into Tuesday with a little momentum because, like Brad Pitt said in Ocean's 11, in this town, your luck can change that quickly. Think about the narrative about the Toronto Maple Leafs yesterday. They have an awful style of hockey. Nobody plays hard. Nobody knows what's going on with Nylander. They're going to be out of this series in a minute. The optional practice, 5 players showed up. This is a disaster. Blow it up. Then, a couple periods later, things are looking good for Toronto now. They dominated the second half of the game. They're probably going to get Nylander back. Things are looking good. They have home ice now. Things can change very quickly in almost all those series. There were a couple things I saw that I'm going to store. Big injury for Carolina. They have those 6 reliable horse defensemen, and it's not looking good for Brett Pesce in the long run. Brenda Moore said it. So that's something I'm going to have to pay attention to because I obviously have Carolina to win the Eastern Conference, and all of a sudden you roll in D'Angelo. That's going to have a big trickle down when it comes to the defensive efficiency of that team.
This town, your luck can change just that quickly.
We saw the Vegas Golden Knights. Could they snap into form? I don't know. They look pretty good to me.
This town, your luck can change just that quickly.
What I noticed in that series, shaky goaltending on both sides.
This town, your luck can change just that quickly.
There are things that you see in these series that allow you to help decide where you're going to go with it. If you're going to stay away from player props, we're going to go over on player props, under on player props. And early in the series, I like to absorb as much information as I can. Somebody said yesterday, they asked me during the day on the Patreon, they're like, I don't know, where are the unders? Where are the under 6.5? Well, typically, especially in round one, I like each team to get their first home game out of the way because you see these people come out like jackals. And then all of a sudden, game 2, it's a little bit different than game 1, and there's not that shot out of a cannon first playoff game in how many years for Vancouver. Then game 2, maybe a little bit more relaxed, and I can try to find a couple unders. And that's what I'm going to be doing on tonight's slate. You knew you're going to get it. Let's not act like that. When you turn on a certain movie channel, you know what you're going to get when you tune into that channel. If you go to C-SPAN, you think you're going to be getting Monday Night Raw? No, you're getting some boring court TV or something like that. And when it comes to playoffs, I'm sniffing for unders, and I see a bunch of potential unders on the slate. One thing that I will note, you saw 2 instances of going over on potential team totals. I had mentioned Dallas, they can go over that 2.5 and not win the game. There's a chance of that. And also the Kings. I didn't pick them to win, but I said going over 2.5 in Edmonton is something that could absolutely happen. Doesn't matter how you get there, but you got there. So that's something just to kind of pay attention to because I'll be dishing out a team total or 2 on this slate. I guess let's start with one where we can utilize the team total to try to circumnavigate bad prices or picking teams. I will tell you, I was not impressed with the Vancouver Canucks in that big win that they had. Great win. Come from behind win, trailing in the third, scored 2 goals, empty netter. Good for them. I also noticed they immediately had to abandon their lines. Pettersson was on an island, couldn't get anything going. They had to stack Pettersson, Miller, Besser together. So are they just going to go back to that? Are they going to be a one-line team that Nashville can just try to focus on shutting down? The Garland-Lindholm line did play fabulous. Bad goal was let in. I wasn't all too impressed with what I saw from the Vancouver Canucks. And I think this game can be very similar to that. It can be another under game. We have 2 goalies. Demko was playing great. Other than that one gaff from Lindholm, Saros was playing great. And I think this one has the potential to go under as well. So I'm going to do my classic that we kind of brought up during the year. And I think a couple of these games fit the bill for them. No goal in the first 5 minutes with the under 6.5. If you're a pizzeria guy and you're not able to take that, then I guess we're just going to have to go with the under 6.5 or the sneaky, the opposite of taking the over 2.5 for the Kings or the over 2.5 with the Stars, the under 3.5 for Vancouver. Why? Because I think Nashville's going to win. You want the bold call. I want underdogs. I want underdogs and money lines and a garlic knot too. Give me the Nashville Predators to upset the Vancouver Canucks, a team I was not impressed by whatsoever, and we'll see how they handle game 2. Maybe they play better. We will see. Then after that, we're going to talk about those Washington Capitals. There was a bet that we kept taking towards the end of the season. Even in their wins, it hit for us. Hit for us last game. I just have to keep rolling with it, and that's that under 2.5 goal total. Now, the price keeps getting progressively worse. But you know how the Capitals are trying to win. They're literally trying to win these games 1-0 or 2-0. 2-1 max. If the other team scores more than 1 goal, it's an automatic loss for them. So that's the only way they're going to be able to win these games. And if that's the case, just like last game, pretty much went, half the game without a goal? Same type of thing. No goal in the first 5 minutes. And the under 2.5 goals for the Washington Capitals. That can get you that under 2.5 at plus money. Or if that doesn't tickle your fancy, you know the other option. Both teams to score in the first? No. And under 2.5 goals for the Washington Capitals. So under. Well, then let's go. Let's go to Winnipeg, where we got to be going over, right? Did you see that last game? 7-6. They cleared it up by themselves, those Winnipeg Jets. What did they do? They didn't list it at 5.5 again. No, they listed it at 6.5. Oh, they listed it at 6.5? I don't care if it's the All-Star game. I'm taking a playoff under 6.5. Yeah, go ahead. Grimace. You take the over, I'll take the under, and I'll live with the results. But I can't help myself. You show me an under 6.5, I'm going to have to take it in this game. This isn't the Edmonton Oilers on their home ice. This is the Winnipeg Jets on their home ice, where they can dictate the terms. Last game, I think, will be a little bit of an aberration. We will see. If it happens 2 straight games in Winnipeg, that's pretty wild to me. But Connor Hellebuck, I mean, it used to be under 2.5 goals for the opposing team guaranteed, but it also makes sense. Everyone under the sun's going to go over, and everybody under the sun is going to lose. And we're going to be those random under bettors who are going to win. But I know none of you are going to do that. I know how your regular guy thinks. Your regular guy's going over. So enjoy your over. I'm just letting you know that I'm going under. So I'll take the under 6.5 there. And then that's just about, no, that's right. I'm also going with the under 6.5 with the Lightning and Florida Panthers. Something that I noticed about that series. Interesting, because I'm watching some other games and they're calling a lot of penalties. They called a lot of penalties in the Boston-Toronto game. We saw a good amount of penalties, at least early, in the Dallas game with Vegas. They let them murder each other out there the other day when Tampa played the Panthers. And it was a tight-checking, low-scoring game. It was vicious out there. And I wouldn't expect this to be all that different. We have Vasilevsky in one net, Bobrovsky in the other net. Look at the series between these two teams from 2 years ago. That game, the only thing different is how the Panthers are playing. So the Lightning like playing defense come playoffs. I've told you guys about that for years. The only new revelation is the Panthers also like doing that too. So I'm going to go under 6.5 in that game as well. Unders across the board. Kind of a raw doggish kind of night, wouldn't you say? That's what I have for you here on this Tuesday. I'll try to clean things up. Good luck to you. Better luck to me. Make sure you're subscribed to my YouTube channel here. If you want the player props pick, I haven't gone through all of them yet on this Tuesday. So those will be over on the Patreon. It's patreon.com/Andy Francess, or you can just click on my face on that $100 bill that you see come up at the end of these videos. If not, do not worry about it. I will be back with you tomorrow to talk some Wednesday NHL Sniffs. Take it easy. I will see you then.